What's up, guys? Welcome back to Discipline Pat's Disciplined Weightlifting. On this week's edition, we're going to be talking about how to deal with the monotony and the grind and the boring aspects of a weightlifting program. So, for those of you that have done a weightlifting program, you know that it can get a little boring, okay? Snatch, clean, jerk, squat, press, pull, lather, rinse, repeat. It gets a little dull. So, what can be the way we counteract that? Well, one thing I like to do is I like to throw variation in. So stuff like pulling from blocks, pulling from deficits, pausing at the knee, pausing off the floor, stiff leg stuff, crazy pull variations, crazy squat variations, squatting slow, squatting fast, squatting pause, squatting without a pause. All these different variations you can use to kind of continually make things more and more interesting. The problem with that is then you get further away from the actual sport, which is the snatch and the clean and jerk, and ultimately that's what matters. So going through blocks where you're using all these progressions and these different variations are great to keep you sane, but they're not necessarily making you better at the lifts themselves. That's kind of the issue, is you want to be as close to specificity, so train as close to the actual lifts you can. Some people call it like a Bulgarian program, where you're doing only snatch, only clean and jerk, only front squat, as opposed to like a Russian style program, which is what I just described, where tons of variation. I'm not saying one way is better than the other. I'm just saying one way keeps you more sane than the other way. We still do a bunch of snatch and clean and jerk in the Russian style programming that we run here, but the variations keep it fresh, keep it interesting, and keep you from being bored out of your mind. And that's the biggest thing about weightlifting, is you need to be interested, you need to want to do it. And I'm not saying that every day is going to be like that on the Russian style program, because I have days where I'm just like, oh, I just want to be done, I don't want to be here, I don't want to be doing this variation, I hate high blocks, or I hate low blocks, I hate deficits. But one day out of a program instead of a whole program just being monotonously the same thing every day is a pretty good trade-off in my opinion. And now I'm going to talk about CrossFit programming a little bit, how to keep that interesting. So CrossFit's constantly varied, so inherently it's pretty interesting, but now we throw a little competition there called the Open. So the Open is, for those of you who don't know, it's the beginning stages of qualifying for the CrossFit Games. It's done by everybody, it's open to everybody, and that's why we do it. And in my gym, we do the intramural Open, so an in-house competition, and we've split our people up into two teams, AM versus PM, with coaches being the captains of each team. And I must say, the competition is looking fierce this year. You guys should get excited, because big things are coming, and I can't wait to see. I think it's going to be really good to keep you guys all motivated to be working harder and harder and harder to next year's Open. And that's kind of how we break up the monotony of CrossFit, with a little bit of competition in there. So I hope you guys liked this video. If you did, leave a comment or a like, and I will see you guys next week for another edition of Discipline Pat's Disciplined Weightlifting. I am out.